Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll read a brief section from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 5, text number 4. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tanhara Dvitiya Deha Shri Balarama. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balaram. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called svamsha, and forms that have limited potencies, the living entities, are called vibhinamsha. So we will read one more passage. This is coming from Jayadev Goswami's Das Avatar Stotram, which of course is where we get in our Nrsingadev prayers, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. So Jayadev Goswami actually has this beautiful poem, Dasavatar Stotram, where he goes through all 10 of Krishna's principal avatars in this format of glorification. So we'll read the verse that is dedicated to Lord Balaram. Asi vapushi vishade vasanam jaladhabam halahati bhiti milita yamunabham keshavadrita haladhara rupa jai jagadisha hare jaya jagadisha hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So read this translation. Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Balaram, the yielder of the plow. All glories to you. On your brilliant white body, you wear garments the color of a fresh blue rain cloud. These garments are colored like the beautiful dark hue of the river Yamuna, who feels great fear due to the striking of your plowshare. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Amayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminite Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvisesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So yes, before we begin, we'd just like to seek the blessings and well wishes of all of the Vaishnavas present here, that we can have a meaningful conversation that is pleasing to our spiritual master, pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, pleasing to the hearts of all of the devotees here, and ultimately pleasing to Sri Krishna, Sri Balaram, and that we can find something inspiring in tonight's conversation that we can carry with us, and that can nourish us in our spiritual lives. Hare Krishna. So, as stated in this verse in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Balaram is understood to be the second body of Sri Krishna. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada said that the only difference between Krishna and Balaram is that Krishna has a beautiful blackish color, shyam, and Balaram has a beautiful whitish color, like that of crystal. Otherwise, we can say that in so many ways they are the very same. But of course, Balaram has his own unique personality, own unique qualities, own unique glories. And all of these glories are expanding from Krishna. So Krishna as Swayam Bhagavan, as the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can expand himself in countless ways. As this verse was saying, he expands himself in terms of fully potent expansions, so other avatars, other incarnations of his own self. And then he also expands himself through his marginal and external energies. So he expands himself as Tatashta Shakti, as the marginal potency in the form of the living entities, ourselves, jivas in this world, who are intimately connected as his parts and parcels to both his internal energy, but also very much subject to his external energy. We're subject to illusion, attachment, interaction with the material energy. This is why the living entities are described as Tatashta Shakti, meaning Tatashta means like on the shoreline, just like how where the sand meets the sea. There's this space of transition. So we're kind of in a transitional state in this material world. We can go toward the internal energy, we can go toward the spiritual energy, but also just as easily, we can go toward the external energy, toward the material energy, and increase our attachment and conditioning in this world. So because we have this marginal potency, we are of this marginal potency, I should say, we're very much dependent upon the mercy of the Lord and the Lord's devotees to guide us toward the internal potency, ever toward Krishna's service, Krishna's devotees, our relationship with Krishna. And in this way, we take shelter of Krishna's internal potency, his antaranga Shakti. So we depend upon Guru in order to take this shelter. And Guru, Guru Tattva, the principle of Guru, emanates from Lord Balaram. So we accept Lord Balaram and we revere Lord Balaram as Adi Guru, as the original spiritual master. So Balaram is Krishna's first expansion. So in this way, he also represents Krishna's ability to expand himself endlessly, because as the first expansion, he's Krishna's first display of that potency. And of course, we understand that the Lord, as said in that verse, has unlimited, innumerable forms and manifestations. He's known as Anantarupam, unlimited forms. But at the same time, we see that a form like Balaram is a very, very special manifestation because he's the principal expansion. He's the first expansion of the Lord. And from him, the Chaturvyuha expansions emanate. And from them, we see that Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Chirodakshaya Vishnu, they all originate from Baladev ultimately through the Chaturvyuha. And so Baladev, we can say in this way, is also the source of all universes, because we understand that Mahavishnu is reclining. He's reclining in the causal ocean, in the cosmos. And as he breathes in, countless universes are going into his body and thereby being annihilated. And as he exhales slowly in his transcendental slumber, countless universes are being generated from his body. As he exhales, they all enter into the cosmic manifestation. So Baladev is very powerful. He's the fountainhead, in that sense of all of the universes. And meanwhile, Krishna is the fountainhead of all of the expansions, including Lord Balaram. So we depend upon Lord Balaram for support, for spiritual strength, and also for guidance, as he is the principal, he is the originator of Guru Tattva. He is Adi Guru. So the Guru guides us, as we said, ever closer to the internal energy, ever toward Krishna's names, forms, qualities, pastimes, associates, devotees. And we, as living entities in this world, may be attracted by so many other things, temporary things. So Balaram, he serves Krishna. He serves Krishna by manifesting this guru principle in this world. So we understand, we often hear it said, Srila Prabhupada said at different times, that we cannot approach Krishna without, first of all, Srimati Radharani, without Lord Balaram, and without Sri Guru, without our spiritual master. So we can go briefly over the different reasons for this. So Srimati Radharani is infinitely compassionate, merciful, loving to the devotees. Prabhupada, in one of his Radhastami lectures, early one, he says, Srimati Radharani will actually personally recommend the devotee to Krishna. Srimati Radharani will say, look at this devotee. She's so nice. He's so nice. This devotee is better than me. So we can't comprehend this. We can't comprehend this level of mercy. So we depend upon the mercy of Srimati Radharani. We depend upon the mercy of Lord Balaram, because Lord Balaram is also very merciful. Lord Balaram is the servitor Godhead. Prabhupada describes this, that Lord Balaram is the servitor Godhead. He's none other than Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he appears in the mood of service. He's always serving Krishna. So because he's the servitor Godhead, he naturally wants to inspire service to the Supreme Lord. He empowers those who are aspiring to serve the Supreme Lord. And he does so through his agency of Guru Tattva. So it is said that we also cannot approach Krishna without Guru. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadad nagati kutopi. That without the mercy of Krishna, we cannot receive our spiritual master. We cannot receive the connection to our spiritual master. Similarly, without the mercy of Guru, we cannot enter into our connection with Sri Krishna. So very interestingly, we can say that Guru is also coming from Krishna, right? Like in this verse. So Guru is empowered by Balaram. So Balaram is the servitor Godhead. He appears in so many unique ways. He serves Krishna as his brother, as a friend, as a servant. So he serves Krishna in so many different rasas or moods. And also he appears in a secondary way as all of Krishna's paraphernalia. So he's Krishna's bed, he's Krishna's seat. If we ever see Krishna sitting on a seat, Balaram is there in that form. Krishna's umbrella, Krishna's ornaments, all of this paraphernalia is considered to be the manifestation of Sri Balaram. So Balaram is facilitating the pastimes. He's facilitating and supporting Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's transcendental enjoyment by appearing in all of these unique ways. So what do devotees of Krishna ultimately want to do? just this. They want to serve Krishna and increase his transcendental happiness by facilitating and serving within his pastimes. So Balaram is doing this. And Balaram, of course, is engaging the devotees. He's engaging those devotees even who serve in the role of guru. He's engaging them by empowering them to do so. And he's engaging those devotees who are serving under the guidance of their guru. And of course, in our Guru Parampara, everyone's serving under the guidance of their guru. Everyone's remembering their spiritual master. Even those who become Jagat Guru, like Srila Prabhupada, he was always thinking of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So this guru principle is so important in our particular tradition, in our particular line. We're so much focused on the principle of Guru Parampara, that Prabhupada was always accepting any glorification he received, any service he received, he was accepting it on behalf of his spiritual master. This is our mood. So Lord Balaram is giving that spiritual strength. Bala means strong, strength. So he's giving that spiritual strength by sending devotees into our lives who can guide us, who can inspire us. Of course, we have our Diksha Guru, our initiating Guru, Shiksha Guru, those who give us instruction in spiritual life, our Vartman Pradarshaka Gurus, those who are the first devotees to introduce us to Krishna consciousness. So many different ways in which Guru can manifest. And of course, we understand Guru Tattva, the principle of Guru, is very broad, right? We understand that Guru can appear in the form even of nature. We have the story in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam of the Brahmana Avadut, who's wandering around and learning so many lessons from observing nature, observing the birds, observing the rivers, observing fire, even observing a prostitute. That's part of that story. So the Guru principle is that which enables us to attain some level of spiritual realization through our experiences. Of course, we're encouraged to spend time with Shastra. This is one way in which Guru Tattva is very much manifest, and one way in which our realizations become very much clear to us through the study of Shastra, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of the devotees. And also, we have our own unique individual experience, this lived experience that we have, which is called pratyaksha. So through pratyaksha, through our lived experience, we also, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, by the mercy of Sri Balaram, we may experience realizations, and we may learn from this in such a way that can be beneficial to our spiritual life. So this is Balaram presiding over all of these encounters. And of course, Balaram, Guru Tattva, manifests in this outward world in the form of Guru. So Krishna is there in our heart as Chaitya Guru, the Guru within the heart. And ultimately, the Guru also manifests outside of ourselves in the form of the spiritual master. So we're dependent upon our spiritual master for realization, for mercy, for guidance on this path, because we all know that in this Kali Yuga, in this material world, it's tough. It is not easy to cultivate spiritual life. There are so many forces that are pushing against us. But as Prabhupada said very encouragingly in a letter to one of his disciples, he said, whatever obstacles you have, I can kick out those obstacles in an instant. So we understand that there are obstacles on our path. We understand that this world is it can feel really not very conducive to Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, we understand that the potency of Guru, the potency of Sri Balaram, is so much more powerful than whatever those obstacles may be. Prabhupada in the masthead and the title of Back to Godhead magazine, the little quote underneath it, every issue, is nescience is darkness, Godhead is light. In the presence of Godhead, there can be no nescience. In other words, in the presence of light, there can be no darkness. So Balaram floods our lives with light by sending Guru into our life and by upholding this Guru Tattva, this Guru principle in every area of life. And of course, we're not impersonalists. We understand. Sometimes it's said Guru is one. In some sense, that's true, but that doesn't mean that someone else's guru is the same as my guru. We're personalists. We recognize the individual qualities of guru as guru may manifest to each of us individually. But at the same time, we also recognize where the guru principle is present. If we hear from another devotee, another spiritual master in our movement who inspires us, that's also the guru principle. That may be our shiksha guru. That may be spiritual knowledge coming through a very genuine source, another wonderful guru or teacher in our Hare Krishna movement. But at the same time, we remember our own personal guru in that moment. That's how we're not impersonal. We remember our own guru, not that it's only one, but at the same time, the principle is one. The principle of guru is one. So we are grateful for that guru principle wherever it may manifest. And meanwhile, we offer Dayan Stuvam Stasya Yasastri Sandhyam. At least 3 times a day, we offer our respects morning, noon, and night to our spiritual master, because we understand that this mercy is coming through our spiritual master and through the Guru Parampara. So Srila Prabhupada, he says here, in the Vedic literature, it is said, Nayam Atma Bala Hinena Labhya Na Bahuna Shrutena. So Bala means strength. Sometimes some rascal philosophers, they take it that Bala means bodily strength. They propagate this philosophy that unless you are bodily stout and strong, you cannot achieve spiritual salvation. You must be very strong and stout and eat meat and fight, and then you'll get the next spiritual birth. Prabhupada says, no, this bala, this strength is different. This is spiritual strength. The difficulty of the present situation is that actually we are moving on account of spiritual strength, but they have no information of the spiritual strength. They are thinking of material strength. That is expressed here, that ahankare matahoya nitaipada pasariya asatyere satyakori mani. This is due to ahankar. Ahankar means false ego. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Those who are vimudha, especially rascal. Mudha, rascals, and V means vishesha, visheshanam, particularly. Those who are especially foolish or rascal in this world. Prabhupada says the same thing which is spoken in the Bhagavad Gita. Narottam Das Thakur says the same thing in a plain Bengali language. Ahankare matahaya nitaipada. By the spell of Maya ahankara, vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. We are thinking that we are independent. We are thinking that we can do whatever we like in this world. And this is our foolishness. We think that we can be the doer in our life. We think that we can fix whatever material problems we have. Sometimes we even think that we can fix whatever spiritual problems we have. The soul's yearning, we think that we can fix that through material means. Of course, we can see practically if that's what we need to do, or we can hear from advanced devotees that this is not the case. That whatever material solution that we try to come up with for our spiritual problem, for our spiritual longing, we should say, not a problem. Actually, to have a spiritual longing is something glorious. We're very fortunate if we feel any tinge of a spiritual longing in our life. But to try to address that longing through material means is misguided. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Sometimes we hear it said by Christian teachers and others that we have a God-shaped hole in our heart. The only thing that will fill that hole is Bhagavan, is our connection to Krishna through his service, through his devotees, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. These things actually have a cooling effect. And so Narottam Das Thakur is talking about Lord Nityananda, who is none other than Balaram. Balaram is Nityananda. They're one and the same. And Lord Nityananda in this age of Kali appears so mercifully, with no discrimination whatsoever. He appears in the mood of a spiritually intoxicated devotee who in his bliss and ecstasy is just distributing love of God anywhere and everywhere, even to Jagai and Madai, even to those who harm him, even to those who threw clay pot at his transcendental, his spiritual form, injured his head. he still gave his mercy unreservedly to them. So in Kali Yuga, it's understood that we need more mercy. So as much as Kali Yuga is very difficult, as much as Kali Yuga is fraught with quarrel and hypocrisy, it's also explained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that Kali Yuga is worshipable. It seems strange in a way to hear that. But why is it that Kali Yuga is worshipable? Kali Yuga is worshipable because in this age, we can very, very easily approach the Lord. And there are so many merciful processes put in place that require no qualification, that require no learning, that require no particular birth or background, and that are fully potent. Sarva Shakti, Krishna has invested all of his energies in his holy names. So in Kali Yuga, we consider ourselves very fortunate that we can perfectly approach the Supreme Lord simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And of course, we understand that in the Maha Mantra, Rama is also a name that can refer to Lord Balaram. We hear different explanations. Rama is also a name for Krishna, meaning the reservoir of pleasure. Rama is also a name of Lord Ramachandra, who's a very glorious form, avatar of the Supreme Lord. But also, Rama is also Lord Balaram. So he's there even in our Maha Mantra. So we're under this spell of false enjoyment, false proprietorship in this world. This is, Prabhupada says, that is our material disease, ahankara vimudatma, to be very foolish and to be overcome by ahankara, false ego. Prabhupada says, bewildered, they do not understand that the real strength is spiritual strength. So, as we prepare for Balaram Purnima, we can meditate on also a wonderful pastime, Balaram's pastime, where he slayed the donkey demon, Dhenukasura, the ass demon. So Dhenukasura was in the Tala forest, the Tala trees, which have very, very sweet fruit. But Dhenukasura was upsetting all of the cowherd boys who were trying to enjoy the spiritual fruit. So what Lord Balaram did is he grabbed Dhenukasura. He grabbed him by his hind legs. He swung him around so powerfully, Bala, with his spiritual strength. This is not material strength. This is the original spiritual strength. And he swung him around and tossed him further than the eye could see, tossed him out of the picture, tossed him ultimately into these trees also. So we understand, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has wonderful commentaries in which he explains what each of these asuras represents, what each of these demons represents in terms of our own life, because we're in the process in our spiritual path, eventually, of anartha nivritti, of removal of anarthas, of the unwanted things within our hearts that keep us away from Krishna. So what anartha is represented by Dhenukasura? It's ignorance. It's stubbornness. A donkey within the animal kingdom is known to be exceptionally stubborn and also quite foolish. So our own ignorance, our own avidya, our own lack of knowledge, our own thinking that we know. Sometimes thinking that we know can be even more dangerous than a lack of knowledge. If we think that we have it all figured out in this world, we think that we're false proprietors. We think that we're the real proprietors, actually. And also, if we think that we understand spiritual life without the mercy and the teachings of Guru, which are ultimately coming through the potency of Sri Balaram, then we are in very, very profound danger. So, what does Balaram do? He tosses this ignorance, this avidya, this lack of spiritual understanding, this stubbornness that I am the doer. that I am the Lord of all I survey in this world, that I can make material adjustments and become happy. He throws this conception in the form of Dhenukasura. He removes this conception. So what does Sri Guru do? What does our spiritual master do? Just that. Through cutting words, through compassion, through chastisement, through example, through vani, through words, through vapu, through personal association. Our spiritual master, as Sri Guru, is removing this ignorance and stubbornness, just as Lord Balaram tossed Dhenukasura away and allowed all of the cowherd boys to finally, in peace, taste the sweet fruit of these transcendental tala trees. So just in the same way, our soul is yearning to taste spiritual fruit. We've gone so long in this life tasting the bitter and seemingly sweet fruits, sometimes bitter, sometimes sweet, of this material world. The bird in the tree is tasting those two types of fruits. There's another bird seated beside that bird, simply observing. This is from Upanishad. This is that Krishna, as the super soul, Paramatma in the heart, is simply observing the activities of the Jivatma in this world. So in the same way, we become exhausted of this eventually. It's said that this is in Bhagavad Gita, I believe, Bhagavad Gita, or no, Srimad Bhagavatam, that one, in order to achieve connection to Krishna, in order to be Krishna conscious, one must be materially exhausted. So when the living entity becomes exhausted, tasting all the bitter and sweet fruits of this world, Krishna has compassion upon that soul. And just as the other bird is just observing, Krishna is observing us from within our hearts as Paramatma. And when he sees the sincerity and when he sees the material exhaustion and the inner yearning of the living entity, he will then send Shri Guru. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kutopi. He will send by his mercy through the agency of Sri Balaram, through the special mercy of Lord Balaram, his first expansion. He will send Guru. He will send the spiritual master onto our path to help us learn how to actually appreciate the sweetness of spiritual life, to come to teach us that everything that we were previously attracted to is fleeting at best. It doesn't last. So as eternal spirit souls, we're looking for eternal happiness. If you ask anyone, what kind of happiness do they want? Even ask a person who's not really connected to any kind of spiritual teachings, anything. Give them a few minutes to think about it. Ask them, what is true happiness? They will say, it's lasting happiness. It's happiness that doesn't go away. So this is what our soul is longing for. And this is what Sri Guru, by the mercy of Sri Balaram, is delivering into our life. Of course, it may take time according to the nature, karma, just different qualities of the particular disciple, the particular student. Just as good seed needs good soil to sprout, Guru's teachings may take time to dawn within our hearts. But if we're sincere, if we're submissive, if we ask questions in the mood of really wanting to know, not in the mood just of challenging or some intellectual exercise, if we ask questions in the mood of service to the Guru, our questions are a way of serving our spiritual master. If we ask questions in that way, then by Krishna's grace, by Guru's grace, that seed will take root. And we understand that Sri Balaram, he's the wielder of the plow. And what does a plow do? A plow carves space into the hard ground where a seed can take root and grow and flourish. So Lord Balaram is the wielder of the plow. And just as he used his transcendental plow to change the course of the sacred Yamuna River, so in the same way, our spiritual master can change the course of our misconceptions, can change the course of our life. And of course, we experience this, each and every one of us. May be gradual, but it's undeniable. So this is what happens when the mercy of Sri Balaram enters into our life. Guru supports us. Just as Lord Balaram expands as Anantashesh, he's the support. He's the support. Lord Vishnu is lying upon him. So this world is resting upon Lord Balaram as Anantashesh. So the spiritual master redirects our path, just as Lord Balaram redirected the course of the Yamuna. And also, Guru Tattva is our support. We lean on the teachings, the Vani and Vapu of our spiritual master for support in our spiritual life. When we feel lost, when we're uncertain, we remember our relationship with Guru, with our teachers, right? Diksha, Shiksha Gurus, Vartman Pradarshika Gurus. It's also understood in Vedic scriptures that our parents in some way may be our early gurus. There are many teachers who come into our lives, and this is all connected to the principle of Guru Tattva. So when we have a powerful spiritual master enter into our life who has affection for us, that's a very important thing, who has affection for us, then we can't forget that. We'll always feel grateful. We'll always feel indebted. And we can return to that for bala, for spiritual strength. So Lord Nityananda, he's our original guru, just as Sri Balaram is Adi Guru. For Gaudiya Vaishnavas, for those who are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who are aspiring to be followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we understand that Lord Nityananda is also there for us. And we understand that Lord Nityananda is the most merciful. It's said that if someone has a spiritual desire, if it is a spiritual desire truly, not mixed with any material desire or anything like that, if it's a purely spiritual desire and we approach Lord Nityananda with that, he will grant it. This is what is said by senior devotees. And we can take encouragement in knowing that. We can feel encouraged. So Guru Tattva may be manifest in so many different ways. So Guru Tattva is there in our path, guiding us through our spiritual master, through our Shiksha Gurus. We're so fortunate. We're so fortunate because these are not only teachings. It's not only the Vani, although we understand Vani is more important than Vapu. But for those of us who are neophytes on the spiritual path, this Vapu is also very important because the spiritual master can encourage us. And on a human level, we feel love for the spiritual master. And this helps us to feel more love for what the spiritual master is teaching, what the spiritual master is sharing. Just as, if a friend shares an idea with you, right? You'll appreciate it because your friend said it. So of course, this is above and beyond that. This is, Guru Tattva is purely transcendental. But just for a simple example, our affection in our heart for Guru, the person, will help us to appreciate the teachings that are coming through our spiritual master. So Guru is giving us spiritual strength, support, direction, engagement in bhakti, and engagement in devotional service. We deeply need this spiritual strength, which is coming from Lord Balaram and Sri Guru. We need this to practice Krishna consciousness, especially in this Kali Yuga. We need it so much. So we never forget our spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada, we celebrate Srila Prabhupada, of course, as Guru of the universe. And at the same time, he set the example. He never said, oh, I'm Jagat Guru, I don't need my spiritual master anymore. No, never. He said, I'm doing all of this only by the mercy of my spiritual master. This whole ISKCON movement is Srila Prabhupada's offering at the lotus feet of his spiritual master. This is the spirit of Guru and disciple. And Srila Prabhupada even saw his spiritual master manifest in his disciples, which is very powerful. I'll just share this. He said this in one of his lectures. He said, actually, all of you are representatives of my Guru Maharaj. And he became very emotional when he spoke this. He cried and he said, because you're all helping me in my mission. So when we feel that we're receiving help on our spiritual path, we give all glory to our spiritual master, who is guiding us, inspiring us, empowering us, praying for us, wishing us well. We are made of the mercy of our spiritual masters. So Srila Prabhupada exemplifies this so beautifully. He's the Acharya. He's empowered beyond our wildest imagination. We can't even describe the glories of Srila Prabhupada, however we might try. Yet he's giving credit to his own spiritual master. But this is the principle of Guru Tattva. It's that spiritual strength. Finally, Narottam Das Thakur says, when one receives the mercy of Balaram, Nityananda, one can attain the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna very easily. Se sambandha nahi ara britta janma gela tara vidya kule hi karibe tara. Says if one has no connection with Nitai, Balaram, then even though one is a very learned scholar or Gyani, or has taken birth in a very respectable family, these assets will not help him. We must therefore conquer the enemies of Krishna consciousness with the strength received from Balaram. So, as we approach Balaram Purnima, we pray to our spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, to Lord Balaram himself, that we may receive this shelter, that we may take this shelter when it is given. We may accept the mercy that's always flowing, and that we may be empowered with this genuine spiritual strength to continue on this path, and not only to continue at the same pace, but actually to be progressive and to go deeper according to Krishna's desire, according to Guru's desire, that we can continue to be carried in our spiritual lives, ever toward the supreme goal. And we pray that the love that is exemplified by the spiritual master, by each of our spiritual masters, that we may look upon that in an aspirational way, that we may see the beautiful qualities of our spiritual masters and aspire to even receive a glimpse, receive a drop of that mercy, of that attachment to Krishna, of that eagerness to serve. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Balaram ki jai. Sri Balaram Purnima Mahamahotsav ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much. If anyone has any questions, thoughts, realizations, please feel free to share. Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Oops. There's an echo on my side. Sorry. Okay. Should be good now. First of all, really enjoyed the class. Thank you so much. And Prabhu, I want to ask you, you mentioned that the guru that first shows you the path towards Krishna consciousness, you said a name. I missed the name. What was that?
It's called the Vartman Pradarshaka Guru. I'll write it in the chat here. It's like this. Vartmana Pradarshaka Guru. Like this. Vartman Pradarshaka Guru. So this is the person who was the person from whom we first received sort of entry into
Right.
the spiritual path. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. Yes. Because somebody pointed me in this direction, and then everything happened after that. So I know exactly what you mean, and I was trying to understand that's not my Shiksha Guru, and it's definitely not my Diksha Guru at the moment. But it was that person who I always remember who pointed me in this direction, on which everything else happened. So yes, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's beautiful that you remember that person and you feel gratitude for that person, because that's just one of many examples of how the mercy of Sri Balaram, the mercy of Guru, is entering into our life, even if we don't know it. And sometimes the Vartman Pradarshaka Guru is someone who's, we can say, not someone who is very much like a towering spiritual figure or anything like that. It may be a friend of
Right.
ours who said, "Hey, read this book, or look at this lecture, or listen to this kirtan." But that person is also to be deeply respected as Vartman Pradarshaka Guru, because they played that role. They were instruments of Lord Balaram's mercy. So yeah, thank you
Right.
so much.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Dinbandhu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prakash Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
And what pranam all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, that's the same as a Path Darshaka Guru?
What's that, Prabhuji?
Does that the same as a Path Darshaka Guru?
Path Darshika Guru. I never heard that term before, but it sounds right to me because Darshika, I'm not so expert in Sanskrit, but Darshika, someone who
I'm not
shows you,
either.
like Darshan, Darshika. So
Yeah.
someone who shows you the path. So
Yes,
Path
so
Darshika, someone who shows you. Yeah, that sounds like it would be an interchangeable term, but maybe Simheshwar Prabhu can comment on this.
it's Pada Pradarshaka Guru.
But
Yes, same. Yeah. Pada Pradarshaka Guru.
Hare
Pada.
Hare Krishna. It is, yeah, path good that we say. Yeah, that shows you the path.
Yeah. Pada Pradarshaka Guru. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And yes, thank you, Jai Prakash Prabhu. Yeah, really appreciate hearing from you. And yeah, please feel free to share more, Prabhuji, if you like.
Hare Krishna, dear Dina Bandhu Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I just wanted to appreciate you and your wonderful class. Your scholarship and your sincerity in sharing this are worthy of aspiring towards. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Murari Prem Prabhu. Really appreciate your encouragement. And yeah, this is we always remember our spiritual master. That's it's so nice. It's nice to have the opportunity to give class or to do things like this because it actually gives us a moment to really feel the reality of our dependence upon our spiritual master. So this is why we say those prayers in the beginning, and we're seeking that mercy. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for your kind words.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to see you, Prabhuji, after a long time.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah, so nice to see you too. Yes, always happy to
Hopefully,
meet
this
devotees.
weekend you will be at the temple, right, Prabhuji? Nitai Chand will be also there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're all planning to be there, Mataji. We're all planning to be
Very,
there.
very nice. Yeah, because Balaram Jayanti, he should be there, right? Very nice.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
One more question. Hare Krishna Prabhu, I had one more question. So usually when we talk of Nityan, Lord Balaram, in the form of Lakshman, or in the Lord Lakshman, or in the form of Lord Balaram, he has a more of a more heated, fiery kind of a personality. And so when he comes in the form of Lord Nityananda, that is not there. Is that a correct? Is that a true statement?
Interesting point, Prabhuji. Yeah, interesting point. Thank you so much for sharing this. Yes, yeah, these different manifestations of Lord Balaram. So Balaram himself, Lakshman, and Lord Nityananda. You're saying that in the case of Balaram and Lakshman, they are more fiery natured.
Correct.
Also, we see actually that Lord Nityananda, although supremely merciful, the most merciful, accepting, compassionate, forgiving, he also possesses this kind of intense nature. Lord Nityananda, in many cases, is celebrated as an avadut, as someone who does not really go according to the codes of social expectations, does not go according to societal norms. So Lord Balaram, in many times, does become fiery in debate, or even with some associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was just reading a pastime the other day that, forgetting which associate of Mahaprabhu this was, maybe someone can help, but he did not arrange a place for Lord Nityananda to stay when they were traveling. And because of this, Lord Nityananda becomes very, very fiery and chastises him and actually kicks him. But this devotee, because this devotee is so elevated, he understands that this is the mercy of the Lord. He feels ecstatic upon receiving that chastisement because it's from none other than Lord Nityananda, Lord Balaram. So in that case, there is a fiery nature, but again, it's pure mercy. It's actually pure mercy. And there's a nephew of that particular personality who comes and says, this is offensive. My uncle is a great devotee. How can it be that Lord Nityananda did this? But then the uncle sort of says, okay, this is mercy, and I'm so grateful for this. So yes, there is that fiery nature that we can see in Lord Balaram, Lord Lakshman, and even in Lord Nityananda. But there's a very special mercy that comes with that fiery nature.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Wonderful
Pranam, Niro
class.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
You already, I was going to ask a question about Avdut, but you already answered it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, this Avadut, this mood is very prominent in these different incarnations of Lord Balaram. Not so much in the form of Lord Lakshman. He's very regimented. And, we all know the Lakshman Rekha. He's trying to keep everything under control. And actually in Ram Lila, it's explained in some tellings of Ramayan, it's explained that when Lord Ram left the Lakshman Rekha to go and explore and pursue the golden deer, at that moment, Lord Lakshman says, next time in my next appearance, I want to appear as the older brother so that the Lord will listen to me. Because in Ram Lila, he's the younger brother of Lord Ram. So Lord Ram's not required to follow his order. So in Krishna Lila, he appears as the elder brother. So this is one nice explanation of how that is so. So yes, but this Avadut kind of personality that we hear about, it is very significant in the sense that it comes with special mercy. Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, who's just a wonderfully advanced devotee within our society, he says that the mercy of Lord Nityananda, the mercy of Lord Balaram, because they are spiritually intoxicated. Lord Nityananda is fully intoxicated on Harinam, on the holy name of the Lord. And Lord Balaram is also intoxicated. And sometimes it's explained in Krishna's pastimes that Lord Balaram drinks this beverage called Varuni, which is a transcendental sort of intoxicant, not for us to imitate in any way, shape, or form. But Lord Balaram, part of his glory is he drinks this transcendental, intoxicating beverage and becomes so joyful and so transcendentally intoxicated that Sachinandan Swami explains that we can compare it in some way to, like, if someone approaches a family member at a family function. It's a funny example. And that family member is intoxicated. And if you go to that family member and say, can you please give me some money, or I need some help with something, can you lend me some money, something like that, that intoxicated person will say, oh, of course, no problem, like that, right? Whereas someone may be more rigid if they're not intoxicated in that way. So Sachinandan Swami explains, of course, on the transcendental level, something completely different, but we can draw this line that Lord Balaram, who is transcendentally intoxicated, he's so much more likely to give spiritually, to give blessings, to give mercy, to give spiritual strength, because he's so joyful within himself. He's Atmaram. So he's so joyful and so transcendentally blissful that he's very eager to give.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavats. This is Ramacharya Das, your servant.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
So
I'm sorry,
that
Prabhuji.
question, right?
Hare Krishna.
We're having a little trouble hearing you, Prabhuji. I'm sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah, can you?
I'm so sorry, Prabhuji. The reception is
Hare
not so
Krishna.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, please try again, Prabhuji. Please try again.
Or you can put it
Okay,
on
can you
chat.
hear me now?
Put your question on the chat.
Oh, Niru Mataji
Yeah,
is
I will.
suggesting, Prabhu,
Yes, I'll do
type in the
that.
chat. Thank you so
I'll
much,
do
Prabhuji.
that.
Thank you.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So while Prabhuji is typing, anyone else have any realizations, any reflections, any questions to share? Okay, so we'll wait patiently for Prabhuji's question.
Oh, no, I was actually just putting my thought forward.
Oh, we can actually hear you okay now, Prabhu. So yeah, please feel free.
Oh, perfect. So I just wanted to, put in something that I realized. Lord Balaram, the question that was put forth, right? He's not showing his fierce nature, or doesn't exhibit that, right? The fear nature in this form, like Lakshman does. So one of the reasons is, he, even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for Jagai Madai, when he, invoked the Sudarshan, that time also Nimai actually fell to his feet, and he reminded Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, see, if in Kali Yuga, if we try to do this, then we'll have to kill everybody. There's no one who has not done any offense. So it is our goal of taking this incarnation is to spread the Harinam and liberate these people, deliver these people, rather than killing them. So that was one of the reasons he didn't exhibit all these fierce things. Both of them actually rarely did exhibit anything. But the other thing, when he exhibited, if we go and look at that, he exhibited because of that person being a devotee and not following what he should follow as an etiquette. So anybody who's doing an offense to a devotee, there it is good for a devotee to come up, stand up, and fight for the other devotee. But if it is just, for self, they will never show the fierce form in Kali Yuga.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, wonderful point. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that reflection. And yes, yeah, the great point that if another devotee is being blasphemed, then it's good to stand up for that and to come to the defense of a devotee. But for ourselves, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. We don't expect any particular respect. Of course, if we're being mistreated, severely mistreated, we don't want to misinterpret this verse. That's important to be aware of. But if it's just some disrespect or something like that, we try to tolerate this in the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very good point. And also in Kali Yuga, I like how you said in Kali Yuga, it's not usually approached in this way. And I
Also,
heard it.
if you see, Prabhu Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also invoked the chakra during the
Yeah,
Jagai Madai episode only because Balram was hit. If Balram was not hit, it was not for himself. When Balram was hit, he picked up the chakra. So it's only to show that I'll not take anything if it is against the devotee, but you can do anything, you can tell anything to me. That's okay.
yeah, wonderful point. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So, anyone have any further thoughts?
Yeah. Thank you, Dina Bandhu Prabhu. A nice class. Anybody else has anything to add? Any other reflections? Any other questions? Otherwise, few announcements. As we are approaching the beautiful, the auspicious day of Balaram Purnima, it's on Friday. The program is going to start at 5 p.m. with Mangala Homa. And also, this Balaram Purnima is our 10th anniversary of the installation of Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundarji. We have a 10th anniversary celebrations with Mahabhishek. Then there is Chandravagan procession around 8:30. Before that, 7 o'clock sharp is the Abhishek. So everybody please don't miss it. Everybody can do the Abhishek. Then 8:30, we are planning to go for the Chandravagan, the procession around the temple. Then on this Saturday, we have the 10 o'clock again, there is a Vaishnava Homa. Everybody can attend this beautiful auspicious Homa. And this is a part of bringing the auspiciousness to the community and praying to the Lord for any offenses that we made during these years. Plus after that, there is 6-hour kirtan starting at 11 a.m. and then it's 4:30, then we have Surya Vahan. We take the lordships on a sun chariot. That's what it is, Palanquin. And then come back by 5:30. Then at 5:30 we have a general program with the senior disciples, and His Holiness Jaduda Maharaj is there, and we are expecting many more. So there is also devotees are coming from various temples. This is a gathering, special address on occasion of the 10th year anniversary of the temple. We invited Mayor, Edison Mayor plus Plainfield Mayor, like that, senior devotees from various places. Then after that, we have a Tulasi room inauguration. Everybody please join. It's a beautiful function. And on Sunday, we have a Radhyatra at Oaktree Road. It's going to start at 2 p.m. and it's at the junction of Cinder Avenue and Oaktree Road. And then Prasadam will be served at 95 Fiat Avenue. So like every year, pretty much everybody knows that. And once we come back from the temple, we will have a program of the Brahmotsav Day 3 as a concluding program. Like 7:30, we'll have a Prayaschitta Homa. This Prayaschitta Homa, this is to, we are praying to the Lordships for all the offenses. Prayaschitta, we pray to the Lordships for that, so that Lord will be pleased, and then any offenses that we made for all these years or during these years, so Lord will be forgiven to such devotees. It's very important that we do this. And that concludes the Brahmotsav and Balaram Purnima program. And then on next Saturday is Janmashtami. That's a very beautiful festival, and we are planning also that is a very big program. Also tomorrow evening there is an Adhivas for Balaram Purnima. So we offer the auspicious articles, the Lordships, to have darshan. So these are the programs. So please join, and also please sign up for any services that you like. There are cooking services, various cleaning up, setting up, organizing stage, putting up the stage, putting up the tents, and so many things, and cleaning up. And also please make sure that you also bring Chapan Bhog, the bhoga for the Lordships. We'll send that message out, and so that everybody can bring various fruits, dry fruits, juices, various offerings to the Lordships on the occasion of Lord Balaram, appearance of Lord Balaram. Okay. Thank you so much. Anything else? Anybody like to add anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, 10 o'clock Saturday, what did you say? What is there, Prabhuji?
Vaishnava Homa.
Oh, Homa. Oh, okay. So
Okay.
it will be like nursing a home like that, or what?
No, this is more on the Vaishnavas, for offering the oblations to all the Vaishnavas.
Okay, Prabhuji. It is 10 o'clock, right?
10 o'clock, yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add? Any other comments before I conclude? Okay. Thank you so much. Let's chant together. Vancha kalpatarupasya kapasindhu bhyevacha padidana pavane Vaishnava ki jai. Sri Lord Balaram ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaudiya Vaishnava ki jai. Guru Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina Bandhu
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
Dandava Pranam.
Hare Krishna.